Ho, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Horror Slash. I'm your host, Jason Pelligra. Thanks for coming on the season finale of season 1 of the Horror Slash. And what a better way to end it than with kind of a nutty way, I guess. It was just supposed to be a hat and it evolved. And now I'm going to probably be a bucket of sweat by the end of the episode. But it's all for fun. And that's exactly what we're going to have here today. So, who do we have on the show today? We have, of course, SassySledgehammer with her sassy report on the horror world, as well as poll results. And of course, we had to spend it with our friends, and one of our dearest friends, Spooky B Peach, is on the episode today, and she's going to review a good old 80s slasher. I'll let her intro that, but looking forward to that segment, Spooky B's movie review. Last episode, let's get right to it. You look sexy as hell. I look stupid.
No, you don't.
Well,
here's my axe too.
Nice.
I swear I'm in costume. This is not just this is a sexy Billy from Silent Night, okay?
Yeah, no one's gonna complain.
Yeah.
Just hold it. Yeah, bring it. Hold it out. Yeah. Awesome.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't think we get too much blowback for you not looking like Billy. Exactly. You look great. All festive.
Got a beard though. I did.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You look better without it. You look great. I love the white hair. Nice touch.
Yeah. Thanks.
So in the intro, I left it for you to introduce what movie you're reviewing. You kind of gave a little bit of a hint there. What are we talking about today?
Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
Get into this.
So, this is obviously a classic, because here's the thing. This is what I've always said before you begin. I always said, like, if you're a filmmaker, you got to do something that is like seasonal, like something that is a Christmas movie, something that's an Easter movie, something that is like a 4th of July movie or whatever, because every single time that time of year comes around, people bust out those movies. You live forever, rather than, like, if you just made another, like, Woods movie or something like that. So
right.
I've probably seen this movie a lot more, even though I haven't seen a lot, but I've probably seen it a lot more because it's associated with Christmas rather than just another slasher. But that being said, I'll shut up because this is your show. All right,
No.
Let's get to it. Let's hear what you got to say.
Okay. So release date. I thought this was really interesting. November 9th, 1984, which is also the same release date as A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, what?
Wow. Yeah.
And I believe, if I read correctly, it actually outperformed A Nightmare on Elm Street for like a day or two.
Really? That is crazy.
Yeah. So it was directed by Charles Sellier Jr. I totally butchered that. I know I did. But he hasn't really done much else besides this.
It's okay. You hit us with an awesome fact before that. I'm still kind of,
I know.
Imagine
Are
those
you
two.
mind blown right now?
Yeah, because those are two classics. I mean, one more than the other, but like for the same day, like, could you imagine something like that nowadays? Like, where two major horror films like that open? Anyways, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Blown.
Cool.
Mind blown.
Yeah, I know. And I wanted to give another fun fact. So that was one. And the other one was, I'm sure a lot of horror buffs probably know this, but this film actually caused it quite a huge controversy. Which I knew a little bit of it going in. So side note, I've probably seen this movie, I would say maybe 5 times. I'm by no means like, I put it on at Christmas. That's about it.
Yeah, same.
And I was introduced to it relatively later on. I was probably 13-ish when I first seen it. And I didn't actually like it.
Okay.
It was like too much for me, man.
Okay, so I got to say something. Like, you're kind of like, oh, I was introduced to it later on. I was 13. The content in this film for a 13-year-old nowadays, if you were to think about, like, it's pretty extreme. So You weren't
It is
so far along that I thought you were gonna say like 18 or something like that, but
no. Well, and actually, I should kind of walk that back because I don't think I watched it in full. I'm pretty sure I had to cover my eyes in numerous parts because I had older brothers and a sister that was like, dude, you can't watch the scene.
Yeah.
So I probably watched only half of it in retrospect. And then I probably didn't actually watch it fully all the way through till 20, 21, 22, something like that.
Still counts.
Yeah, but I just couldn't believe like the amount of families that protested it and like PTAs.
Wow.
Yeah, and the original distributor, TriStar Pictures, actually ended up pulling all ads for it after the first week, I believe.
Wow.
And yeah, and Siskel and Ebert really fucking hated this movie.
Yeah.
Like big time. Like, I mean, they hated a lot of obviously for not liking horror movies, but they really fucking hated this one.
Have you ever heard their review for Friday the 13th Part 4?
Oh, Part 4. I don't know. I know I've watched it for 1 or 2 of them, but
yeah. Anyways, it was probably Part 4 where you've seen it. Anyways, where it's so funny. It's so laughable that someone could get so upset about a movie. But that kind of explains maybe why it outperformed Nightmare early on, right? All the kind of buzz. I mean, you hear something's getting protested, you'll go see it, right?
Yeah.
Or you won't, but that's interesting. I knew it had a little bit of blowback. I didn't know it was so extreme.
I really didn't either. And I guess part of that is because they showed like ads for it and the trailer for it. They dropped them during like the daytime and like during a fucking Green Bay Packers game. And I'm just like, oh, well.
Yeah.
But
then you watch the movie and you get it. It's pretty hardcore.
Dude, it really is. And honestly, like it's something that for some reason, like I said, I've seen this at least 5 times, at least. Yeah. And actually, I watched it last night for this specifically, and also as part of my Christmas holiday routine. Yep. And I was like, for some reason, it hit a little different last night. And I was like, I feel like I need to take a shower.
Whoa, so this could be an interesting report card here. Okay.
I think it will be.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Are we ready?
I'm pumped now.
Okay. So first category is kills. I'm gonna give it an A-. Obviously my favorite kill is Denise with the antlers through the chest or stomach. I always thought it was the chest, and I was like, no, it's right here.
Yeah.
Which if I had some antlers laying around, I was half tempted to like put on like a tube top, like skin colored tube top, and do some cool effects. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that at some point, guys. I don't know.
You don't have antlers laying around?
I don't, but I can find some.
Fine. Okay. We'll have to wait for that one.
But yeah, the kills are obviously, pretty cool, pretty rad. The decapitation too was it's pretty cool. Characters.
Wait, actually, you know what I was going to say? You're kind of like, definitely the kills in this are like, they're kind of like it's like Savini did this film. He didn't, but it's like a Savini-esque film.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
totally agree.
All right.
Yeah, characters. Let's go to characters because this was kind of a letdown. Okay. So I'm gonna give the characters a C.
Okay.
Which I don't have a favorite character. I didn't bond with anybody. Everybody dies so fucking quick. Or either that or they're weird or they're fucking assholes.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
The sister, the head nun there, the sister superior there, she was kind of a hard ass, like to hate. You hated her, but other than
Grandpa was so fucking creepy and just I'm like, dude, you're scaring me, and I know you're just an actor, but chill.
The grandfather, okay, so the grandfather has one of the greatest edits ever, and you probably didn't catch this because it's just the silly things that I find in films, but there's the point where he's scaring the hell out of his grandchild, and then his face is just all animated, and then the parents are walking in, and then they cut back to the grandfather, and he's sitting perfectly still. If you watch that scene and just watch that edit, it's so ridiculous, and it's really, really funny, but it's one of those things that you have to kind of just catch. If you don't, then obviously you'll miss it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm gonna have to rewatch that part then for sure.
It's pretty funny
because yeah. And so, yeah, besides, I like the killer though, which I'll get to that in a second, but yeah. So no favorite character really, aside from Billy, which that's who I'm supposed to be, guys, by the way. I know I'm a female Billy, but that's who I'm supposed to be.
It's all good. We got that. But you're right. You could kind of get excited about Linnea and all that kind of stuff, but you're right. There's no real protagonist that you could get your head around on this movie. I never realized that. Just learning so much today.
I know, right? Okay, so next category is the story, which I'm going to give a B+. Obviously, you're always going to get me with holiday horror, like you said. I love any horror movie associated with some kind of holiday. The first 20 minutes or so, like, really explains why this kid ends up so fucked up, which I actually love. It really gives a good backstory for that. And actually, like I said, actually kind of traumatized me too. So and re-traumatized me yesterday. I don't know why. I don't know why this viewing, I was like, what the fuck, man? This movie is so much, I think it's because it's so much more fucked up than I realized. Like, it really is a super dirty kind of I spit on your grave type film, which I love. I do love, guys. Don't get me wrong, but
you know what it is, and I'm not insulting you here in any way, but as you get older, it just things hit you a little differently. They just do. There's nothing you can do about it, I
totally agree.
And when you're a kid, it's all give me what you got, hit me with your best shot. Nothing registers. Reality and all that kind of stuff and the hardness of the world, hopefully when you're a kid, isn't there. And as you get older, things start to stick, I think, a little bit.
And I think too, also, this movie was kind of filmed, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, almost like a legit snuff film in certain scenes, which I think kind of like, I can watch about any horror movie. I love all types of horror, but there really is something as I do mature that assault on women sometimes can be just a bit kind of, just a little touchy, which, like I said, this film does, it does do a good job. Obviously it really drives home, just how fucked up, fucked up Billy ends up being, but
for sure what happens to his mom, and especially,
brutal, like seriously brutal. So next category is the killer, which I give an A. I do. Total psycho. Like, we have to really give it up for Robert Brian Wilson. He's seriously fantastic. It's almost like, man, like as soon as he puts that suit on when he's working in the toy store, it's like instant, like shots fired, cylinders going off in his brain, pure evil. Love that. So yeah, great. Cool. I love. What is it with guys in psychos being named Billy that I find attractive? Okay, so my next category was a letdown for me because it's music. There's nothing to it, guys. I'm gonna give it a C. The score, I do like the score, when it picks up during the kills and whatnot, but obviously
I think you went kind of easy there on the music.
I know. I probably could have freaking give it a D.
You're so kind. I've noticed that with your gradings. Even when you're like, I could tell that you don't like something, you still like, the hardest you go is like C-, I think. I don't know. We'll see.
I think because like D and F seems so like, I hate that. And like,
reminds you of high school.
Yeah. There's nothing like I hate. Like, there's nothing that I actually hate about any of the movies that I've watched or reviewed so far. Yeah. So it is like, I'm trying to walk that line between like, what's a good legit grade and what's a okay grade and what's, a really, really shitty grade, which I don't have so far.
Well, but the thing is that when you drop one, then it will take note. We'll be holy crap, we finally got her. All right. Nice.
And okay, so the next one's Nudity, which I did have a hard time grading this one again. I kind of was floating back and forth between a C+ and a B-. because there is a lot of it, which would give it a higher grade. But God, some of it's just so, it's what I go back to with like fun nudity and like, you know, like necessary, like you're having sex or whatever, or a girl's going swimming and she jumps in the lake. But this, it feels so like
gritty,
forced and just gritty and just like, I'm like, ugh. So that's where I'm like, I struggled.
I want to remind everybody, in case you didn't get it from the first appearance by Spooky B, that I wouldn't say forced, but I encouraged this category to be in her grade card. And I could tell how much she struggles with it, which makes me want to keep it in. I'm not going to lie. But maybe that's just a little sadistic side of me. But anyways, I just want to qualify that because I could tell you're struggling with this one. But
because it's such a hard category to grade.
It is.
Because I'm like, if we're going off just pure, like there's a lot of it and the boobs look great or the butts look great or whatever, then a lot of these movies are going to get like high marks, right?
Yeah.
It's the 80s.
Yeah.
But then when you take into account of like, how is it used?
There you go.
In what context, and this feels like, and maybe also like mad props to the women too who are acting, because like the mom in the beginning, like she like legit looks like this is actually happening to her, which is what I mean by some of these scenes kind of like have that like snuff film vibe, and you're like, dude, is this Santa Claus like really actually fucking doing this right now?
Yeah, this movie's hardcore, like, and we alluded to it. It's pretty hardcore. And I could see why people would get upset with it. I wonder when they were protesting, I wonder if they even, because most protesters don't even, it's like today, most protesters don't even see the movie. They just know the concept. If they saw the movie, because sometimes you see it's built up in your head and it's like, it's way worse in your head than when you see it on screen. I don't think that would be the case with this. I think if some of those protesters actually saw the film, they would be crying. Because it's so tough, like, you know, to watch. But there you go. There is your criteria for grading nudity. Not how much, but how well it worked.
Okay. All right.
So there we go. So this D.
So okay. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a C+ then.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. But back to the protesters though. Like, I'm glad you brought that up real quick, because they didn't even watch this film. They protested it just for the simple fact of it showed Santa wielding an axe.
Yeah.
In the ads. That's why they protested it. So yeah, they didn't even watch it, which, you know, whatever.
Well,
that's how a lot of it is. So.
This is back in the, now we got protests for, you know, everything, like social wise, but this was back in the day when, you know, like rock was getting just ripped apart by parent groups and Tipper Gore and all that kind of stuff, and like everything, like, I mean, even Kiss, they're like, you know, Knights in Satan's Service, and this was the prime time. MTV was, you know, just coming out where just everything that kids were into was just being attacked, and this was kind of like right around that time, so kind of fit the times. Makes sense
for sure. Okay, so the last category is setting, and I'm gonna give that a C also. Just because I wish we would have spent more time in the toy store. I really liked that atmosphere, and I liked his manager, which I'm like, I kept thinking he reminded me of somebody, and I was like trying to like look up his filmography, and it wasn't who I thought it was. So, but he looked just like another actor.
He's been in a lot.
Yeah, but like,
he has been in a lot.
That's what I thought, but I'm like, I didn't really recognize anything off the top of my head, but I didn't look too far into it. But yeah, so and I didn't like the school. We spent a lot of time in the school, and maybe it's the whole like that, like the mother superior. I just she drove me nuts. I didn't like her.
I like that you were kind of hard on the setting, because I think we've discussed in your segment before how setting is huge for me. And I felt that this movie kind of lacked it. Everything seemed cold, like a cold kind of sterile. It was almost like they shot wherever they could get a location, right?
Yeah.
Like not like let's make this look good. This is a perfect location. It was more like we got access to this this warehouse. Let's make it a school or whatever. Like, you know, it just kind of it felt like that. In a way, it kind of helps the film stay cold, gritty, dirty, and stuff like that. But yeah, there was no like it didn't have the Christmas feel. I didn't think that like you were kind of hoping for. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I also, you touched on the cold feeling, and that's I think another reason the setting score is low, and probably could be a little lower, to be honest with you, because it's not your typical, it's not fun. Like this movie is not fun at all. Like I mean, like it's like legit, it's hardcore, it's serious. And I'm sure there's probably some horror fans out here laughing at us right now. They're like, you guys are pussies. And I'm like, no, it's not that. Like I can watch it and I have fun with it, and obviously I'm sitting here laughing about it, but you really do have to admit that this is not your typical like fun 80s slasher. It's just not. It's darker.
It is. And I'm okay with that. And I do like this film. So anybody calling me a pussy, you know, hold off for a second.
Step two, guys.
But here's the thing though, like it lacks in certain things. And that's what we're talking about. I don't know if sterile is the right word, but it just kind of got that feel where like, there's nothing really inviting. Like, you know, when you watch it, it's a cold atmosphere. Sometimes that works for a horror film. I still feel like even though you want to make it scary, you still need the warmth of a location to kind of just, I don't know, just to kind of set the tone a little bit. And this one, you know, where you're lacking, like we said, like a protagonist, you're lacking a hero in this film, and then you kind of lacking the setting. There's some voids there that make this film a little bit full of holes. But but that being said, yay, Christmas.
Like I wish they could have made I can't remember her name, but the girl that he likes, his coworker at the toy store. They could have made her like some kind of final girl. Or something, like something for us to latch onto.
You thought it was going to go there, but it's like, no.
He's like, done. You're done.
All right. So the big question is, how many machetes does Silent Night, Deadly Night get?
Okay. I like sitting here questioning my rating. Like, I feel like I need to change it.
Hey, no one saw your script, so
this is true. Okay.
What we hear from you now is what's going in the book. So
I don't know. I'm torn. Now I'm torn between, I was initially going to give it 3 out of 5, but I think I'm doing that more out of like I feel like I have to, because I do like it. I'm going to watch it every Christmas. But now I'm sitting here questioning, like, it's definitely not my favorite. It's not at all. I mean, it's not even in my top 5 favorite Christmas horror movies.
No, you gotta just, you don't worry about whether you could watch a movie that you don't like over and over again for if you want. But it's just more about what your opinion is. And if you don't think it gets the passing grade at 3, then, you know, give it 2, but this is your show. Well,
I was going to give it like, what about 2.7? Can I give it 2.7?
No. How am I going to do 0.7 of a machete in the graphic?
Because like, okay, so like 2.5.
7?
Listen, just hear me out. Okay. 2.5 is too low and 3 is too high.
Oh my God.
Can you like make like a little machete and do like
0.7?
Like cut like the tip off.
Yeah, I probably could, but do I want to? Just the tip?
Just the tip.
Just the tip?
Oh my
God. Okay. All right.
If it makes it easier,
no.
5. You can give it 2.5.
No. Give it when I throw to you, give it your final machete rating. And Silent Night, Deadly Night's final machete rating is
2.5.
No. Oh my gosh. I'm
trying to make it easy on you. I want to make it easy on you.
It's okay. I can handle the graphic.
Are you sure?
I can. I don't know if I want to do this moving forward, but for you, yes, of course. All right. 2.7.
2.7 because I'm so indecisive.
Oh, wow. Okay. I never thought we'd get that score. I probably have to like come up with new graphics to, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But 2.7, Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Listen, I'm here to challenge you.
You're doing it. You're doing it. You're challenging yourself too, because
I am.
You're questioning all your decisions.
I'm sitting here talking about it now, and I'm like, oh shit! Like, I think I rated this too high, actually.
Well, I mean,
and I do like it. I do, trust me, I do like this movie. I really do, but it's just not.
You gave 4 C's out, a C plus, and so I think that's the most you've done. Usually, your B's and higher, and then the odd C. So this one is definitely reflected by your grades. I think you did a good job. I think the consistency is there. I think 2.7 is what it is, and we're just gonna have to deal with it. All good.
Okay. All right. Hey, wait, my favorite quote.
Oh yeah, I'm
don't forget my favorite quote.
I'm here all night.
My favorite quote is Denise when she asks her sister. She tells her sister, if you don't go back to bed, Santa won't come tonight. And fucking her boyfriend's like, he's not the only one. Sorry, I thought it was hilarious. It's great.
Good one. No, that's a good. I mean, there's not much competition in that film. Other than just a punish, but that's kind of boring. But that's a good one. That's a good one. And let's just actually this was a pretty classic Linnea Quigley film. I mean, this is her death scene is pretty iconic, and this was really the movie that kind of got it going for her. This is before Return of the Living Dead, and what'd you think of her death scene? It's pretty gratuitous. It's pretty violent and stuff like that, and it's pretty famous. Did you think it was too much when you watched it this time around, or
no that was my favorite kill.
Yeah,
was her. But I think I'm also just so used to seeing her, like I'm so used to seeing her nude.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
so it's kind of like, and she's having sex. I mean, so it didn't feel like nasty or gritty like the mom or the toy store when the dude's like fucking trying to rape her, no, so hers felt like natural. It felt like
felt natural when she went to the front door and flung it open, bare chested, looking for her cat.
No, okay, no, not that.
Because in my world, that's natural. But
listen, maybe she was like, I'm gonna put my shorts on at least.
Yeah.
To stay kind of warm, even though my cheeks are hanging out.
Yeah. No, I love that kill. I mean, as a kid, watching that whole sequence was a game breaker for me, so I'm not gonna lie. It was special, and you know what, and again, credit to the effects in that film. I mean, say what you want about like some of the kills being hard to watch, but they're hard to watch because they are so graphic.
The kills are awesome.
That antler scene was pretty well done. It was really, really cool, and it's pretty iconic, and I'm glad that it went all out. But
especially considering I'm sure the budget wasn't. I didn't look at the budget, but I'm sure the budget wasn't super high. So
well, I think they blew it all on the kills, right? I mean, like I said, it didn't look like they spent a lot of money on locations, that's for sure. But
no.
But anyways, it's got its charm. We go back to it every year or every other year at least, and it is what it is. But it's
in my rotation every year, every holiday. Or every Christmas, it's in my rotation. Don't get me wrong. It's not my fave. So
awesome. Me too. I gotta agree with you. So thanks for this. And we're going to bring you back in a little bit. You gonna come on with Sassy Sledgehammer?
Yes, I'm excited.
Ohio girls. All right, cool.
Yes.
So thank you for this awesome Silent Night, Deadly Night, Spooky Bee movie review. And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bonjour.
Hey.
You're Santa.
I am.
Well, cool.
I was going to see this thing. I was going to say, you going to sit on my lap? Then I had to hold myself back. I know. Yeah, well,
Oh,
I gotta
boy.
stop holding myself back. I like your sweater. That's cool.
Thank you. Thank you. It says, he knows when you are sleeping at the bottom.
Oh, nice.
It's super soft too. This is nice.
Is it new?
I got it last year right before Christmas, and it's become my go-to Christmas sweater now. It's
It
so
looks,
soft.
you know what? It looks Nightmare on Elm Street-ish. It looks Christmas-ish, and it looks a little NASCAR-ish. So you kind of got like a little.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes with Freddy sweaters, they can be a little itchy. Like I have one that's wool, and every time I wear it, my face is like,
yeah.
So I don't ever wear it.
Yeah, that explains his skin complexion, right? It's not just all burns. It's bad.
Not burns. It's an allergic reaction.
Exactly. Poor Freddy. No wonder he's so grumpy all the time.
Grumpus.
How you doing? You ready for our Christmas episode?
I can't believe it's going to be 2022. Meanwhile, 2019 was just last year.
Thanks for that one.
I'm so confused by everything going on.
I am too now. That was some heavy duty math there. All right. Okay. I'm pretty sure you were wrong, but I understand what you're trying to say.
It feels that way.
It feels that way. Yes. It feels like
that way.
We've clumped together two weird years, but you know what? Got to enjoy these years because we don't know how many we have left.
Oh my gosh.
Merry Christmas.
It's true.
Merry Christmas. My candy cane broke. I got freaking broken candy cane. I thought, oh, cool. I'll suck on a candy cane and broke, which is probably a good thing because me sucking on a candy cane probably wouldn't make for. All right. Sorry. The hat's a little tight.
we can blame it on the hat.
We'll blame it on the hat. All right, Sassy Sledgehammer, what do you got for us this week? Oh my God.
Well, this past week was Krampus Not. So, of course, just a reminder that Michael Dougherty's previously unseen naughty cut of Krampus on 4K Ultra HD came out this week, which provides us with a new version of the 2015 horror movie, and it's available from Scream Factory.
Did you see it?
So fun. No, I haven't seen it yet. I still have to get it. But I did watch Krampus this past weekend.
Woo. Okay. I'm curious. So are you going to see it? Do you have plans this year?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
All
definitely.
Right. Cool.
In case anyone else forgot, because I did, the upcoming Fede Alvarez produced Texas Chainsaw Massacre got some new photos and a teaser. The movie takes place years after the shocking events of the original and where Leatherface hasn't been seen or heard from. Apparently, according to creators, he's hiding because of what he did. A remorseful Leatherface? What? I don't know how I feel about that. But apparently Sally Hardesty will be returning, which is a plus. And Leatherface will be slicing his way onto Netflix on February 18th of 2022. And certainly the cast looks like a Netflix cast. So we'll see how this goes. I will still be watching it anyway.
What does a Netflix cast look like, Diandra?
You know, they're kind of like a little too put together, but kind of cute. Kind of like...
That's not Texas.
They think... teenagers or young people look, but they're not really in touch with how young people look back then. It just feels very, I don't know, it's
manufactured.
Like manufactured. That's perfect. That's a great way to put it.
Actually, I got to give you credit for saying it looks like a Netflix cast. I've never heard that terminology before, but I like it.
It do. Remorseful Leatherface. That's a new one.
That's
holiday horror comedy Black Friday starring Bruce Campbell and Devon Sawa is coming to Blu-ray in January. So that's something. I still haven't watched it. I keep forgetting to watch it, but I'm going to watch it because it looks so good. But it's coming to January. It's crazy to think that movies now, it's like, oh, it just came out, but now it's going to be on DVD and Blu-ray. I remember when it was like a really long time.
Yeah, I know. You have to wait.
Before it came out.
I know. It's true.
Wild. Guillermo del Toro's new movie, Nightmare Alley, is on the way this holiday season from Searchlight Pictures, with a hotly anticipated film only in theaters on December 17th. Bradley Cooper, Kate Blanchett, Toni Collette, Willem Dafoe, Richard Jenkins, Rooney Mara, Ron Perlman, Mary Steenburgen, and David Strahan. I'm sorry, David. Star in Nightmare Alley, and it looks pretty darn sweet. When I went to go see House of Gucci for the second time in theaters with my parents, Nightmare Alley was on the TV. It was on the one of the trailers, and it just looks really cool.
There's some names in there, right? There's some like non-traditional horror.
Yeah, looks super awesome. So everybody go see that.
Okay.
New Scream posters came out to remind us that anyone can be behind the mask. Of course, the legacy characters of Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and Neve Campbell were behind the mask, but then they released all the new cast. My significant other pointed out that Judy's photo looks pretty suspicious in the way that the mask is up to her and like the shadow that it casts on her face. And he's like, maybe it could be her. I don't know. I'm curious as to what everybody else is thinking. Maybe Judy is like the child of Stu, or like his sister or something that didn't know about, and then she's coming to take revenge. Like, whoa, what a twist. Maybe Stu's back. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That would be very interesting. Well, he's like, somebody's tied to him. I don't know, one of the kids. We'll see. Well, not really new, but here's some holiday themed horror that you can watch on streaming platforms for everybody out there who wants to get their fix for the holiday. Better watch out. Black Christmas, Christmas Evil, The Day of the Beast, which I've never seen. Deadly Games, Scare Me, which is super awesome. Love the whole improv thing. To All a Good Night, Jack Frost, which I watched for the first time a couple years ago and thought it was hilarious. I was like, is this movie gonna suck? It was so awesome.
Yeah.
And then Rare Exports, which the coaster looks kind of weird, but there's like, my parents always told me growing up, they're like, that guy that you're sitting on his lap in the mall is not Santa. He's in fact one of Santa's helpers. He's like an elf for Santa. And I was like, oh wow. And this movie basically takes that concept, and like the elves and Santa are like evil, man, and he's not Krampus. It's just like it's really fun movie. So I highly recommend it to anybody out there who's looking for a new movie that maybe I haven't seen. Rare Exports.
See, I always thought like the mall Santas were like just Santa's bitches.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, okay guys, get out there and do my work.
They're like, I'm Santa.
Yeah. Did you ever have because I gotta say, like, you know, in the movies they make fun of it, but I've never seen a real bad Santa. I always kind of wanted to, but have you ever seen like a really poorly operated or poorly presented mall Santa?
Not that I can think of. I think they were all pretty legit.
They're all pretty good, right?
At least that I can remember.
Yeah, me too.
They're usually chubby guys with real white beards and white hair. Like, that's their lifestyle. They are Santa Claus. And last but not least, Boulet Brothers Dracula has been renewed for season 7 on Shudder. So excited.
I could tell you're excited. Was it good?
I love Boulet Brothers, man. I love it. They released episode 8 today, and of course, watched it. Watch all of it. I'm so excited to see what's next for them. I think they're super sweet. But there are like comments on those. Someone was like, why is this on Shudder? Because I'm a horror fan. I want to see horror movies. And I'm like, wow, a show about horror themed drag monsters who have to go and basically do like a fear factor thing before they get eliminated. Plus the fact that they have all these horror guests on and they're paying homage to horror characters. Yes, definitely does not belong on Shudder because it has nothing to do with horror. Like, there's just a bunch of different stuff. Like, all of you, anything horror related, documentaries, you know, they even have documentaries on there on like scare actors and haunts and stuff like that. Anything spooky, put it on Shudder. I'll watch it. And I believe somebody said, I did not get a chance to check this, but Boulet Brothers is actually the most popular show on Shudder. So, booyah.
Let it out. Let it out, Diandra.
Yeah, totally. All right. Results for this week. For this week from our polls.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. We had 5 questions.
5.
Number
Count
1.
them. 5. Sorry.
5.
Sorry.
Which of the below is the best horror Christmas film? And Twitter at 43.5% said Gremlins.
Ooh.
Followed by Black Christmas at 36.1%.
Okay.
So Gremlins, man. And then on the Instagram, it was pretty much Gremlins and Black Christmas were about even. It's hard to say because they don't have like the multiple option. It's just kind of like, which one do you pick?
Yeah.
It's pretty even.
So on that, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah.
I thought Black Christmas was going to win, but maybe you just have a softer touch in your fan base. Maybe a lot of your followers are just a little bit more.
Maybe they're just a bunch of pussies. Just kidding. No, they're not. They're not. But you know, that's what you were trying to say. You were trying to say that. I think out there.
Can I just say, yeah,
really dope.
That was what I was trying to say. But thank you for.
They just know a good film when they see it. I'm just saying.
But can I just say though, I voted for Gremlins though. I voted.
See, there you go.
I love Gremlins. How do you not like Gremlins? But anyways, I'm just saying.
I love Gremlins. I love Gremlins. I guess I was expecting like Silent Night, Deadly Night to get like, they had like nothing. Nobody gave a shit.
Well, don't say that because we reviewed it.
Really.
We reviewed it in our first segment, and it was actually a really interesting review. And there were so many revelations along the way with Spooky B. It was a review unlike any before. She was navigating her grades right to the bitter end, and it was fun to watch. But I did think it was going to be between the big two, Black Christmas, which has a huge following, and Gremlins, which is just massive. So
yeah,
all right.
But Krampus put up a fight. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Twitter 82.3% said yes. Instagram 78% said yes. So
that's like 160% yes.
Like so many people, they agree.
Woo. What about you? Did we talk about this last week? Did we talk about? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Apple pie or pumpkin pie? Twitter 50.8% said pumpkin. Instagram 55% said apple.
Whoa.
So a split.
Split, but both close. So
yes,
it's a wash. Close. It's a wash.
Whatevs. This one kind of surprised me, I guess. I thought that the killer would kind of win out, but this was close. Who would you rather play in a horror film? The hero, the best death, or the killer? Twitter 39.1% said best death, with 38.3% saying the killer. Most comments said that the heroes were not that interesting, which but I mean, yes, but like that's why we need more punk goth heroes out there, just some badasses. Keep it going. Instagram was also pretty split between best death and killer, but it was mostly best death again. I was expecting people to just be like the killer, but no, people wanted to be best death. Close, but I'm surprised
when you decided to put killer in there. I was like, that's gonna probably just sway the poll one, that way. There's a couple of things I've grown to realize. Mostly it started when I did the Women Who Effing Love Horror, is how much of an appetite there is to be a victim in a horror film. There is just a massive, and you kind of get it from watching a lot of like behind the scenes, and you see the excitement in some of the actors, like, that have these awesome death scenes. And I do find it fascinating because, like, if you're thinking logically, if you're the hero or the killer, you probably could sign on for part 2, but anyways, that's interesting that people go that route.
Remembered.
They want to.
Hallelujah. And last but not least, thoughts on social influencers. Just as I suspected, there are some people who respect the hustle and have a positive point of view, but most people don't pay attention to them, think they're negative, such as dumbing down society. Some people quoted the Kardashians. They in their way have like social influencer, but it's a little different. It's like they're more famous than like a social influencer. Yeah. They have their social influence, but like they're also reality TV stars, so it's different.
Way more credibility. Yes.
Yeah, and And some people don't understand them. People have said they're just marketing tools and they're fake, which is very interesting to me. I can see how maybe somebody on the outside, when they hear social influencer, they probably see like a travel vlogger or like a mommy vlogger or something. I ended up telling some of these people that I'm technically one, and they were shocked because they don't consider me to be one. But I am technically one, and I do often get paid by companies to promote stuff. So I am a social influencer, and they just did not see it, which proves that there are good eggs out there. There are all kinds of great social influencers. Someone mocked social influencers, calling themselves content creators, but it really is what they are. I mean, the whole social influence, I can see how it's like, I'm a social media person with a large following and I can like influence other people, but at the same time, they really are content creators because people have no idea what goes into it. There's time, there's the costs to like travel somewhere or invest in a collection or like outfits or to have the right equipment and software, editing, a good computer, cameras, nice camera, good lens. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars here. It really is an art form. And it takes somebody who is not only willing to invest, but has an eye for artistry, because not everybody does. I mean, I'm not very good at graphic design. I think I'm better with photography. So like, it just takes those people who know like a little bit of marketing, who are pretty personable, who have the artsy side, and it all comes together to create just basically a form of entertainment. Some of it's bad. I mean, some people don't believe in what they sell. Some people are just willing to be like, yeah, get this. And then people try it and they're like, it's actually terrible. They don't actually like use it or whatever, which is bad. And there can be dangers. I mean, that people have shown how different apps and stuff can really alter a person's hair and face and makeup and all kinds of stuff. But ultimately, I think people might feel a little insecure around them. Either they're introverted or they're trying and they haven't quite reached that point yet. They don't understand it fully. I think for most part, if they were interested in doing something in the world of, let's say, horror or just something like that, they would want that influencer status, because a lot of people are like blogging and talking and doing stuff, and they want to get some kind of notoriety, but they haven't quite gotten it yet. So I think that some people are a little salty, but
yeah. Okay, so I mean, I'm going to give you some perspectives. And and I see the good and I see the bad. The problem is there is a fair amount of people out there that are social influencers that really lack credibility for what they do. And a lot of them are popular because of the way they look. I mean, it's just plain and simple sometimes with why someone has. Now, I'm not saying everybody that looks good, so let's dissect what I mean by that. There's people out there that have followers because they look good. That's it. And
definitely.
And most of them are female. I'm not saying all of them, but most of them are female. So what happens is, and this is the issues I have, is that, and we kind of touched on this before with horror reviews, where all of a sudden, because they have followers, their opinions hold weight. And I think that is where a lot of people scoff. A lot of people get upset about what they're getting from this, like, what they're getting from that person. Now, if someone is knowledgeable, if someone, like, now you said about putting in the work, and to a lot of the credit of these people, even just the glitzy, like face value person, they put in the work. That goes without saying. But there's two things. One is the perspective of, people are like, everybody that tries to go on social media now and tries to do this, it's transparent. People know what they're trying to do. So it's just like, well, that's all they want to do. They just want followers and stuff like that. So there's that kind of attitude that you have to contend with. But then there is also the fact that a lot of people are in a position where you know, they're talking out of their ass, and, you know, they're just kind of really floating out air, and people get wind of that, and people get upset by that, people get put off by that, and it paints a lot of people in the same brush because of the way trends are going.
Yeah.
That being said, there's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of talented people out there. But you know how it is. Most of the negatives usually outweigh the positives. And I feel like that's the perception. That's the way people kind of view it. I mean, what do you say to what I say?
I definitely can see that. I think people can just kind of see people as being fake. Like I think I mentioned previously that I've been called fake me, but it's you know, people just kind of have that perception because I think they don't understand it, or sometimes I think that people are the out. Peaches, I think it was Peaches Christ, maybe. No, I don't know if it was on the episode of Behind the Monsters on Shudder, was talking about how Freddie was getting into the pop culture, and people that had made fun of them for liking Freddy Krueger were now liking Freddy Krueger, and they're like feeling insulted because they're like and like hurt and protective. They're like, you didn't like me for this, and now you like me for this, so I don't like you. And I think sometimes when people are good looking or well liked, even if they are horror fans, I think some people who have been on that outcast side kind of look at them as like, there's no way you could be a real fan, because there's no way you can be that popular or look like that and actually be a real horror fan. There's just no way. But the truth is that a lot of people, they do look like that, and they are a little bit more charismatic, or they do have more access to resources, or just a bunch of stuff. So I think people just get really, it's kind of like the guys who ask young girls like name 3 songs when they wear the band t-shirt. It's kind of like, there's no way you actually listen to that band. It's the same sort of thing. And I think people ultimately just can feel threatened, but I think that there can be some bad and some people who will throw around their follower weight, not because they think that there's validity, but people don't necessarily follow them for their opinions. They follow them for the way that they look. More so than not, it really depends on how somebody carries themselves. If somebody is kind of at both ends, you talk a lot about horror and you look good and you know, you're all about horror, that person has, I guess they could say, some kind of authority in a way, but at the same time, it's like nobody's opinion is better than anybody else's. We all have opinions. Like, I'm going to just call out my boy, Phil Noble Jr. here. Like, I'll agree with a lot of what he says, but just because he says it, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily, you know, fact. It's still an opinion. It's still an opinion.
Yeah.
You know, me talking about how I see in Freddy's Dead or whatnot, or how I feel about certain things, despite how much I love this, it's still an opinion. Like, it's still an opinion about A Nightmare on Elm Street. Just because I'm the queen doesn't mean the queen is like, you know, perfect or like the end all be all. Like, I could debate until my head falls off about something about the movies, but if somebody who made the movies come out and go, no, this is actually why, then I'd be like, oh, well, what do I know? Because that's the fact. Mine was an opinion, mine was headcanon, mine was this, mine was that. It's until you have somebody who knows the actual truth behind it, it's all just an opinion.
But I do want to stop you.
Or disliking something is an opinion.
I want to stop you for a sec, because I do think that in a way, and I'm not blaming you for this, but I feel like in a way you're kind of defending yourself.
A little bit. I mean, there is that.
Yeah. And I don't like, you know, I don't think that you per se need defending, but I guess you would know better than I, right? My opinion is that, you know, like, I look at you and you provide legit content. You're really well educated in what you're projecting. What I was kind of alluding to is, you know, if you go on TikTok and there is a girl with her legs up and that big, and then she just drops her legs. And have you ever seen that thing where they just have their legs crunched up? they have their legs crunched up, and it's just this big song. And then at the end, they drop their legs, and everything just kind
I
of
know the song,
hangs
but
out.
I don't know.
You know, you look at stuff like that, and then you kind of click on a profile, and then you see 280,000 followers. And that is, I think, where people, and then you kind of look at the same, like a lot of the videos, like, you know, just in bra and stuff like that. So now, is that an influencer? Like, because if that's an influencer, because that's what people will think when you think influencer, and you see someone with that many followers doing all these kind of just really silly things, you know, that's the opinion people, that's where people get their opinions. It's like people laugh at it. People will be like, look at this girl, look what she's doing, right? And she's got the followers because she's I was gonna say she's doing something right. I don't know if she is, but regardless, I mean,
technically they really are. It's like people will always knock the Kardashians, whether you believe that they're legitimate or not. I mean, they figured out some kind of miracle thing, either the way that they look or in the way that they carry themselves and the products they put out there. God knows the secret to it all just could be Kris Jenner. And they have been able to make so much money. So no matter what we think, that money is coming from people who want their stuff. As I say with the Kylie Jenner, A Nightmare on Elm Street stuff back here, of the Kardashians anyway, I have mad respect for them, but my queen will always be Paris Hilton. But some of this super dumb. Like, you could look at a video on TikTok and be like, why does that have 3 million views? I did a small video, like I have over 200,000. I haven't done it since last year, but I have so many. I have like 211,000, I think, is where I stopped off at. And it was just me cosplaying as Regina Mills from Once Upon a Time, and people really liked it, and I got a lot of attention from that. And, you know, there's something about it. I tried to do one thing, it didn't work. So then I ended up shifting to that. That's what made me go. And it's kind of like, if somebody can figure out the secret sauce, no matter how, what they do, and they get that following, it's like they have something to them that is drawing those people in. Other people, I think, can be upset. They're like, I'm trying this is so much funnier. And there were videos I put like hours into. The biggest video I had, it was one take. It was something stupid. It was like 10 seconds long. It was 6 million views. I was like, what is this? Why this video?
But okay, fair enough. But you're looking at it from the social influencer perspective, which I get and I understand. Why what I'm trying to explain is why I think there's so much resentment or so much disgust in some cases is because of the oversaturation. I mean, that has like a lot to do with it, and be just the lack of just originality, a lack of creativity. And I'm not talking I'm not talking about like the people that put time into their content, but the oversaturation of everything thrown in your face every day. And you see people that, you know, just really stumbled into it for one reason or another. Maybe it's not just their looks. I don't want to say just their looks, because maybe it's not right, but maybe they found an algorithm and rode that wave or whatever, and that's all good and that's fine. But the perception of the regular person towards a social influencer, and I also mentioned this in another episode, I think a lot of it has to do with TV shows, not so much, you know, Kardashians, but like shows like The Bachelor, like, you know,
maybe you were going to say The Bachelor.
But it's true, because a lot of people, especially now, before The Bachelor was one way, but now there's the perception that people are just going on that show to get that career.
And they are.
They really are. And that is not like it. You could say good for them, power to them. They did it. But there is kind of I think a lot of people view it as shameful in a way, in shameful behavior. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people view it as that. They just went on there to get their Instagram followers, just to get their,
I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, I watched the last season of The Bachelorette, and a couple of the guys had mentioned to other guys that they were on for like becoming famous. And I don't agree with, I mean, there are people out there that definitely don't. There's the good. There are people who really use things and they figure it out, and that's all fine and dandy. And sometimes, but then there were other really, really good people, but a lot of people would just do anything for fame.
Yeah.
They're like Jill from Scream 4.
And yeah. And this show is massive. Like, so again, just using Bachelor, Bachelorette and all that stuff, it's massive. And it has like a following. And I'm not gonna lie, I follow a couple of them for a little while anyway. And then it gets really, really hard to follow them. But that is where that opinion is formulated. So then you get someone who builds up their like social influencer status like you do, like the horror genre and stuff like that. You're legit. And I'm not just saying that because we're talking, but that you built it from the ground up. You did it the right way. You followed your passion and it worked. And it's working, you know, but there's other ways that people are falling into it, and that is what most people see. Like, so most people will see the Bachelor way because it's on ABC. It's a huge show. So most people see that way, and that's where their opinion is, you know, cooked up. You know, a lot of people don't, you know, like an average fan, like, you know, an average 55-year-old might not be on TikTok, but probably watches Bachelor and probably knows, right? And
That's
so
my family.
Sorry?
That's my family.
yeah. But anyways, don't want to get too much into it. I definitely like, you know, I there's a lot of things out there that just make me shake my head. To hate, you know, or dislike influencers as a blanket statement, I think is ignorant. But you know, it's a really oversaturated market out there. So I think there's always going to be disdain.
Everybody get off.
But you're good. Don't worry. You're fine.
I know. Part of the reason why, though, that I think that I was able to get to where I am is because I started so early focusing on this one and cosplay for this one, and nobody else was doing it. Yeah. And it was just as social media was just as it was growing, I also grew. So I got lucky with the time that I did it. Timing also played a huge factor in
big time.
These things. Very lucky. I consider myself very lucky. I mean, if I tried to do it today, it could probably happen, but it would be hard because
it's hard.
I mean, I've been doing this stuff since 2009.
Yeah.
So
see, and the thing is, in 2009, like you said, like there wasn't that many people doing it. Now there is a lot of people doing it. And where do you give your attention to and stuff like that? Why follow this person? It's just like this, or, you know, I follow enough horror pages now. I don't need to, like, you know, and it's increasingly more difficult. And that's just the reality of it. But you know, that's a lesson in life. Timing is everything. But anyway, we digress. So this is our last episode of the year, so we don't need polls, but we're gonna bring on a good friend of yours and a good friend of mine. So now we are, for the first time, uniting the full cast of the Horror Slash.
Hi. Brittany.
There we go.
Wow, we're all here. This is amazing.
Yay!
Yeah, the last episode. The last episode of season 1, we're all together. That's awesome. It's a good thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Brittany joined us halfway through, right? So and luckily, so you guys have done stuff together, but we're not going to talk about it. So we're going to talk we don't have that kind of time. We're going to talk Christmas. We're going to talk Christmas. So I'm with my Ohio girls who hopefully I'll get to meet in 2022. But we're going to talk a little bit of Christmas, and we both kind of had segments, I've had segments with both of you earlier, and we covered some stuff, but we're going to just have some light banter. And I don't see any eggnogs or drinks in your hands, but whatever. Obviously, Ohio girls don't know how to party.
Ready for light banter.
Ready for banter. All right. Okay. So I this is a simple stuff, but let's start off with Christmas carols / songs. I want your top 3. Okay. So we're going to start with Diandra because she looks like she really loves this question.
I do too.
Okay.
So my favorite Christmas song.
Wait.
What?
I'm asking you for your top 3. You don't go 1 to 3. You go 3 to 1.
Oh, with the. Okay, so my number 3 is a toss-up between That's Christmas to me by Pentatonics, because it's like super heartfelt and stuff. Or Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses, because this is a lot of fun. That's a bop song. Number 2 is Joy to the World by Neil Diamond, because every year since I was a kid, that was the song that we always woke up to on Christmas morning. So it's all my playlists and everything. And then my number 1 that always makes me cry, makes me feel good, is Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid.
Good list. Good list. No no, Joy to the World, right? Yeah, I was gonna say no carols. You had 2 songs and a carol. All right, spooky.
Okay. So my third favorite is Step Into Christmas, Elton John.
Nice.
It's fun. I love it.
Yeah.
Second is Merry Christmas, I Don't Want to Fight Tonight by the Ramones.
Wow. Good job.
And number 1 is Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys, which is like my absolute favorite.
Wow. No duplicates so far. And looking at my list, there's not going to be any duplicates. So 9 fresh songs.
Do it.
However, I'm going to give an honorable mention to Let It Snow. But my number 3 is Winter Wonderland, just because, you know, sometimes winter pisses me off, but the thought of having Christmas without snow always kind of bugs me. So Winter Wonderland is good for me. Number 2 is Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues. It's never on the radio because it's got some choice language in it, some dated language in it. You know, it's a good Christmas song when there's like bad words in it.
Not surprised.
But Fairy Tale of New York, if you don't know it, check it out. It's just got this awesome little melody, and it's just like, you know, at the end of it, you just want to raise your glass and cheers. And my favorite is Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
Aww.
But the original, you know, orchestra version, where the operatic, because it really reminds me of like back in like grade school, and it just takes me back to when we used to do all these fun things in school. Like, so it kind of has a little bit of a sentimental vibe. As a kid, I didn't like it, but as I got older, it takes me back. Transcends. Yeah. All right, not bad, not bad.
I feel super unconventional.
Well, is that bad?
I don't know. I'm like, but those are my favorite. I guess I don't.
That's
I guess
fine.
I do like the more upbeat. Like I like the more happy beat. But I do love Do They Know It's Christmas? That does like make me, it always like just brings me to tears a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
It brings me back, like you were saying, Jason, like there's a lot of this stuff, like Joy to the World, for example, like ever since I was a little kid, I almost put Mariah's Carry All I Want for Christmas Is You, because I remember kicking my dad in the crotch when I was a kid to that song. I don't know. I just did it. I was having a good time and I was just like, wah! So there it went. But like a lot of these songs bring me like the Christmas Wrapping, and That's Christmas to Me. I mean, those are like new, they were not with me, but like I remember being at my grandma's house when I was a kid, hearing Do They Know It's Christmas on the radio. And it just Christmas, it makes me feel like Christmas is the one time of year, even though we have Halloween and Thanksgiving, there are traditions, like Christmas really, it's like a lot of the same stuff. Like when you were growing up or when you were younger, watch the same movies, listen to the same music. Like you maybe like my Christmas tree is pretty much all ornaments from when I was a kid. And I really haven't updated it. So
that's cute.
Yeah, it's all that stuff.
Yeah.
Nostalgic time.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what Christmas is a lot of times. It's like, you know, trying to make this year live up to every other year that is existed, because in your head, like, you know, it's like, it's just, you know, you're just living through one year. But sorry, in your head, you've got however old you are, that many Christmases in, and they're all compiled, and it's like this perfect Christmas in your head that you can never achieve the year you're living in, right? But anyway. Okay, so that leads us to Christmas movies. So we'll start off with Spooky B on this one.
Okay. This is hard. This was really, okay, anytime somebody has me give a top like 3 or a top 5, I struggle really hard because I always have like a tied movie or song. I actually had a 4th song, but that's besides the point.
I gave an honorable mention, so I'm not going to.
You did. I know you did. Okay, so movies. We'll just do movies. Okay, so my number 3 is either Gremlins or Black Christmas. OG.
Poll results.
You what?
We had a poll this week, and those were the 2 highest voted favorite Christmas horror movies.
Yeah. Gremlins is just, I don't know, tugs at my heart.
Yeah, for sure.
And Black Christmas is just a classic. Number 2 is Home Alone. And that is like super reminds me of my brothers and like I have a very big family. So growing up, that always reminds me. That's such a family movie for me. And then number 1 is, of course, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Of course. Nice. That's a good list. That's a good look at Diandra. Smiling ear to ear. Okay, naughty elf on my left corner here. You're up.
All right, my number 3 favorite Christmas movie is Krampus. Just love the heck out of that movie.
Wow.
Have to watch it every year. Number 2 is The Santa Claus. Love all the sequels, but the first one is just such a cozy good time. Love that movie. Tim Allen is hilarious.
Before you go on to your number 1,
yeah,
I was watching the other day, and do you realize that we're like a couple of years away from it being 30 years old?
Shut up.
Like, that's crazy. I don't know why that one doesn't seem that old to me, but like, that's crazy. 94. So that's we're like, yeah, 20, we're 28, 27 this year, 20. Like, that's nuts. All right. Sorry.
I refuse to accept that
next year. So thanks for that. And my number 1 is just like Brittany. It's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Nice. It is the movie that my family starts and ends the holiday season with. We all get matching shirts. We all quote it. My sister and I bought my dad the Chicago Blackhawks jersey for my dad that says Griswold on the back with the double zeros. He wears it every Christmas, and he drinks out of the little Wally World moose mug. Nice. So yeah, we love Christmas Vacation.
It's the gift that keeps on giving all year round.
That was my mom's. That was my mom's favorite Christmas movie too. And fun fact, well, fun and sad, but when she was in the hospital and sick, that was the only thing that would make her smile.
Aww.
When she was sick, she still was able to laugh at it, and so yeah, I definitely have good memories of her too attached to that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's tough to beat then. I don't have that on my top 3, but I love the hell out of that movie. My favorite line in that movie is just kind of like it's really hidden, but where he's like Randy Quaid goes let's go play with you and let's go find your sister. I don't know why I find that so funny, but it's just creepy uncle. Anyway, all right, so my top 3 are the Muppets Family Christmas, not the Muppets Christmas Carol. So I think it was 1987, they made a Muppets Family Christmas. It was like a TV special. It's about like 35 minutes long. And have either of you seen it? No. So it's the Muppets, and they go to a farmhouse, and it's so cozy because it's a farmhouse in the snowstorm. And then all the Sesame Street characters join them in this tight little farmhouse. Then there's a scene where the Fraggle Rocks are in it. So they're all united in this one movie. Gosh. And I love the farmhouse feel and the snowstorm. And it's just, yeah. Okay. 2 is Polar Express. A movie I hated when I first saw, and this is why I always tell people, give movies a second chance. There's just something about that movie that just resonates with me, that on a level, I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Christmas Comes to Town makes me cry. I was in the store the other day and I heard it and I was like,
good song. Yeah. I just feel like when they go out on this whole adventure and then they come back, like when they're parking and he comes out of the train, you feel like you've gone on this huge adventure and it's like it's time to go to bed. And you know what, I don't know, there's something about it that really strikes a chord in me. Except I will say the elves are way too creepy in that movie. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. They were totally agree. They were off. Yeah, that was mess. Anyways, and number 1 is A Christmas Story. I went to I actually drove from Toronto to the state of Ohio, just to see the Christmas Story house. So I was in your neck of the woods just to see a stinking house in 2018. It was awesome.
Did it make you happy?
It did, minus it was raining, but yeah, but no, it did. It was awesome. I have cool pictures, and it was a really good memory.
You have a leg lamp?
I don't.
Oh,
I know where to draw the line on things. I know.
Everyone would see that and they'd be like, wah, wah, that house is awesome. Look at the leg lamp.
Maybe one year. it's I love them. I love the father in that movie.
Fragile. Let's be Italian.
All right. So let's get on to, I don't know, I stuck this whole thing in my mouth. Sorry. Tradition. Sassy.
Why don't you start this one, Jason?
Yeah.
We went around. Everybody else got it.
Because you know why? Because it was going to give me time to think of what mine was. I have so many. Okay, so here's the thing. I grew up with so my father was the quietest guy you ever knew. All my friends just thought he was a mobster, just sat there, intense stare. But when Christmas came to town, he was Mr. Christmas. Lights everywhere, inside and out. Like everybody decorates the outside and it looks awesome, but inside was like just this like giant, massive, like fuse blowing display. And he had villages, extensions on the house. So this is what I grew up with. So Christmas is huge for me. So I have so many traditions, but sometimes it's just like the simple things that, are just the ones that I enjoy the most. And it's just, I have like every Christmas movie on DVD, and just nightly I watch them, and I watch and then I rewatch them, and I fall asleep to them. And just that little thing throughout the whole month of December where I almost don't watch anything other than Christmas stuff. It's just kind of my favorite Christmas tradition, I guess. It's kind of vague, but and every once in a while every year we also do a cocktail night with just hors d'oeuvres, and we watch Die Hard too. So
nice.
But anyways, that's mine. Boring. Sorry.
Not boring.
All boring.
All right. Spooky B.
Okay, so I don't really have any traditions for Christmas Day. Just open up presents and relax. So my stuff is like, especially Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve is actually really big. Mm-hmm. We always play games. I insist on the family playing. I have my family over to my house, so I host Christmas, and I insist that we play board games. I don't care if you don't want to play, you have to play. And they're a variety. They're usually different every year. And then my sister and I bake. We usually bake some kind of fudge and cookies, and we watch Saturday Night Live Christmas specials. So that's awesome. Is an absolute must, like old school, like early 90s when SNL was at its peak. And then aside from that, just, I watch obviously all my favorite Christmas movies all month long. And so that's about it.
There's no beating my balls.
My family's favorite. They're always like, sweaty balls. My niece would love a sound of your sweaty balls.
There's no beating my balls, ladies.
I went to the store the other day and I pointed at an aisle with nuts. I was like, fragrant salted nuts. And the person I was with was like, oh, and I was like, oh,
that's such a great skit. That and obviously Chris Farley as Santa.
Don't get me started on Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Steve Martin when he's like, you know what I wish?
Christmas wish.
Yeah. The crap about the kids. Forget about that.
Crap about the kids.
Crap about the kids. Yeah.
No, I forgot revenge against my enemies. All right.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I know. Saturday Night Live is great. I always try to watch it. Like, I don't watch it religiously, but I always try to catch the seasonal stuff.
Yeah.
Again, it just takes you back, and it's just, it's awesome comfort stuff.
Oh, for sure.
All right, Sassy.
All right. Well, like you guys, I watched the movies all along. There's actually a DVD that I was gifted for Christmas in 2010. That is like, it was a very gilly Christmas, and it was like Kristen Wiig hosted like a bunch of the little bit newer skits, and then like the older ones too, which is where I got like exposure to that. Like, what was that? It was like a Christmas playlist one where they're like, please go away, I'm doing fine with Dana Carvey and stuff.
Oh, Dana Carvey
cracks me up every time I watch that. And then they'd have like newer ones. One of my favorites is Two A-Holes in a Manger, and it's Jason Sudeikis and Kristen Wiig, and they're like she's like, what's that? And he goes, it's Merbabe, and like the whole time, and this one time she picks up baby Jesus, because they are volunteering. They're like, we want to go to heaven, and they're dressed so obnoxiously, and she picks up the baby and she goes, this baby doesn't look like Santa. And it just gets me every time. I love that one so much.
That's awesome.
But anywho, my favorite tradition, I just love the family time, getting the family together. My family is very important to me. So just spending time with them. Like, I don't even care if I got gifts or not. Just everybody getting together and talking and eating. It's wonderful. Christmas Eve has always been my favorite day. It used to be a lot different. We used to go to my one grandma's house, and then we go to my other grandma's house, and we might go to mass or not, depending on if we're like, we did midnight mass once, and I was like, I just want to put on my pajamas. So then we tried to do it earlier before dinner, and then eventually we were just like, So we used to do that, and that was like my favorite, going to both, and then going home and going to bed and waking up, and then we would have Christmas at my parents' house. But now my parents have Christmas Eve at their house. So it's like our Christmas Day back in the day at their house, and then Christmas Day now it's like, you can come over if you want, we got hors d'oeuvres. So I feel like kind of empty a little bit on Christmas Day now, because that whole tradition kind of changed within the last 4 years. So I always loved it. I really, really did. Still my favorite day though, but we would always also go to Pittsburgh. Like the day or a couple days before Christmas, they used to have in the PPG building this giant room that had Santas from all over the world, and then in the middle was this huge, I don't even know, 25-foot tree, 30-foot tree, 50, I don't even know, huge tree decorated, and then around it they would have gingerbread houses that kids from high schools and middle schools would decorate. And then last year they sold that part of the building, and so then the Santas are like in different areas, and the gingerbread houses aren't, it's just not the same, but they have like still a little shop out there. And then we would go and eat at Primanti Brothers, which has like sandwiches with fries and coleslaw on them, that has like come through Northeast Ohio a little bit. So that we would go to the original one, and then we used to go to this giant light thing out there, and that was just so much fun. And then they stopped doing that. It's like all the fun things that I really love just aren't really around anymore. But so, which is why I think I just really like having family, because that's the one consistent thing. Doesn't matter where we are, as long as we're together.
Look at us, we're like these horror people, and listen to this beautiful mushy sentiment.
You do have to admit though, like, I mean, Christmas is the one time of year where especially if you're nostalgic and you're very drawn to that retro vintage aesthetic and lifestyle, this is the one time of year that seems to be stuck in time, to me anyway. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because a lot of other people feel like that, and so everybody's listening to like older Christmas music, and everybody's popping on the old Christmas classics and like the classic cartoons. I love those so much. Even though obviously I don't have kids and I'm not a kid, but I still love, like, Rudolph is my favorite. He's my absolute favorite cartoon character.
No, it's for sure. But like I said, a lot of it has to do, like, I mean, with me, you know, like, it's there's so many great Christmas memories. And again, I, like you were saying, Spooky B, that, you know, Christmas Eve was always bigger for us when I was a kid. You know, as it's kind of changed now, it's leveled off a little bit, but you had a huge, massive family, massive gatherings every year, Christmas Eve, then Christmas Day. Now, you know, some higher, you know, older people passed away. And so every kind of the family's kind of just, you know, separated and did their own things. And it's a lot smaller. And it kind of, it makes me sad a little bit, like, you know, even though I don't love being around everybody, but collectively it was a great memory. But like I said, the problem with Christmas is you get so sentimental and you remember all the Christmas pasts. And like I said, they're in your head together. They're dancing around there together, making this like perfect Christmas picture. So every year kind of feels a little bit less better than the year before in a way when you're living it. And that's unfortunate for me. Anyways, that's my perspective. But you know what? It's every time like December approaches, like I get freaking crazy for Christmas. Like the house is decorated like crazy. And like I said, I mean, you'd be hard pressed for me to find anything on my TV or computer for the next little while that's not Christmas related, and until Christmas is done. And I love it that way. So
I love Christmas. I feel like Christmas is just pure joy. Like a little bit TMI, but like I battle with depression. So like Christmas is one time of year when I just feel consistently pretty happy. Like a lot of times the movies, oh crap, if I'm going to figure out that Sharon has come back to her small town for Christmas and she's going to fall in love with Paul with the pager, like we just know. I don't care. We'll watch it. It's so great. Like I'm gonna watch all of those feel good, happy movies where everybody's family and falling in love and cavorting about in the snow. Like it's just a really good feeling the entire month. And even though the Christmas songs are like the same 11 songs sung by different people in different ways, I don't care. We'll listen to it forever. Like it just makes me so happy.
No, and you know it's funny, and it's just like, so what you're saying is like sometimes I feel like I can't relate to people who don't feel like what we're talking about right now. And I know it can be nauseating to certain people, and even people watching this saying like, okay, what am I watching right now? But I find that like, when there's someone who really appreciates Christmas kind of the way I do, it's like a bond. And it's just like,
we're like,
I get you. You get me. And when they're not like that, I'm like, really? You don't celebrate Christmas? Really?
You know what? Honestly, I find the older I get and the more I talk to different people and I talk to even older people, I think some of it comes from a place of hurt. I think some people, either they've lost somebody very close to them,
for sure.
or they have, possibly they didn't have a great childhood. And so for me, I totally get what you're saying, but my heart also, I'm kind of like, okay, there's definitely a reason you don't like Christmas. It's, or you may not, you may not have so much joy for Christmas as other people. And that makes me sad because I think everybody, that's one thing everybody should get and deserve is good memories, something. I mean, even just one good memory for Christmas. And
and that's
my Christmas wish.
The crap about the kids. I know what you're saying, but that's what I mean, because you know how good it feels, and you're like, when someone else doesn't have it, you're like, really, you don't feel that way? But you're right, a lot of it's like from crappy childhoods and or traumatic experiences, or just not the greatest family life. Obviously that has a major hand in it,
like both of you have, Jason, did you lose a parent?
I did. I lost my father, who was Mr. Christmas, in 2019. So it's still pretty fresh, and it's never the same, I soldier on. It's hard, but
did it change? But did the holidays change for you in some fashion? That's how it is for me. Like I love Christmas, and it's by no means like I don't look at it like a depressing time of the year like I did when my mom was sick and I lost her. I don't want to drag this down, by the way.
No.
I did want to touch on this because I know a couple people personally who are not as Christmassy as like me. I really try to push the spirit out there, like at work and in my personal life. And I do know a couple people who are like, ugh, whatever, I could do without it. And I'm like, but why? Like, what's the reason? And the one person is because they lost somebody. And I'm like, listen, I totally get that. Christmas is not the same for me as it was. And it sucks. But But by the same token, I still love it, and I'm going to try and make the best of it, and I'm going to try and have new memories, and still cherish those old ones. But it makes me sad because there are people, I think some people put on a front too, like when they are hurt, they're like, oh, screw Christmas and whatever, it's overrated and blah blah blah. It's the 9 times out of 10 because they're dealing with some kind of internal hurt.
Like Phoebe Cates and Gremlins.
I mean, losing family is what did alter my Christmas Eve. My grandparents just getting older because they were the ones who always hosted that night, and so it was really hard for me to kind of accept that. But I mean, surprisingly, some of the like saddest moments in my life thus far have been between October to December, like the end of December. And so I'm like, God dang it. I kind of dread the holiday season every year because there has been so much like losing animals, losing a family member, finding out something on Christmas Eve. You know, like last Christmas Eve, despite it being my favorite night of the year, it actually ended up being 2 days of like absolute heartbreak for me. So it's kind of like, oh God, what's gonna happen now? But I feel like I got it done. Like I can get through it, and there's still some positives for me. I like desperately never want anything to happen that would make me like hate this time of year between you know, Halloween to Christmas. But like a lot of stuff has happened, so I can definitely see how people would be like, you know, I don't want anything to do with it because there's just something that's happened to me during that point in time. But like there is just a lot of joy, so like trying to immerse yourself in that, like it can really help, even though it's not like you like watching other people or like tapping into some of those memories. It helps me a lot when I feel sad. So,
No, and listen, I mean, like I said, losing my father, who like Mr. Christmas, you know, could go in a totally different direction. It's never going to be the same, and it's never going to be as good. But it's like that whenever you lose someone, right? It's just not the same. Great memories are just not as great. You know, good times are just not as good, and it's just the way it is. Like you can still have good times, you can still have great memories, but you know, but it's up to you ultimately to move past it or dwell on it. And I know I'm not oversimplifying it, but I'm telling you, I had to go through it myself. So I could have like started to hate this holiday, or I could have just been like, you know, I've had great Christmases. This is part of my life. This is part of, you know, what made me, you know, it really does. Like, I mean, I could do without Halloween. Sacrilege, I know, but like, I'm just saying, but I couldn't do without Christmas. That's the way I truly feel. But, you know, wow. This was cathartic. Does everybody feel better? Group session?
I do. And I'm sure there's people out there that are listening that are going to be like, you know what? They're right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, listen, there's a sadness to this holiday that is profound. Like it's joy, it's happiness, it's everything. And then there's that underlying sadness that runs right through it. That even when you're having the best of times, it's just there, and it's part of what makes it too. So it's kind of yeah. All right.
But it's fun. It's still fun.
Yeah,
I love
fun.
Christmas.
It's good to get
gifts.
I
have to. My birthday's this month, so I have to.
That's right. You got a Halloween birthday, you got a Christmas birthday.
Hey, but you know what though? Real quick, fun fact is that actually I still have technically a fall birthday because it's not winter yet.
That's true.
She gets the best of both worlds. She gets a little bit fall, a little bit Christmas, a little bit everything in it.
Yeah, but okay, wait, not to burst. I'm not going to burst your bubble, but I'm going to burst your bubble. No one in December says, "Well, this is nice fall weather." It's this, no one wants.
Well,
you know.
I will tell you for a fact that I walked outside the other day and was like, "Wow, this is so wonderful for Christmas. Too bad it's still fall."
Okay.
See?
Okay. Well,
but it's still
there's
fall.
Diandra.
I mean, it's still fall, you know. I mean, I have a pumpkin outside. I got Santa and a pumpkin.
I got a bunch
Winter
of pumpkins.
is December 21st.
It
Yes,
is.
exactly.
It is. But let's face
Don't make it come too soon, man. Don't make it come to, because after Christmas, winter can go take a hike.
Yes.
I know, right?
It's dark and cold.
Agreed.
But that's what I said.
No.
Christmas would have been better if it was like January 25th, because you're more through winter. It comes too soon. It does. But anyways, now we want to change the dates. We're really all over the place. But
Christmas City.
thank you for celebrating this Christmas episode. This was fun. This was nice to get you two together, the three of us together, and talk about Christmas. So last episode of season 1. So I want to do some thank yous. So thank you, Spooky B, for coming on and gracing us with your awesome movie reviews. They've been fun, and more fun than that is just getting to correspond and work with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I've had so much fun doing it.
That's great. So that's all the time we have for today's show. No, we are way.
You dare.
Okay, fine.
Dear Santa, I know someone who's been real naughty this year.
See this, Jason? You're going on
naughty
There
list.
you are. Naughty list.
Gosh, I've never been off it. I was gonna say, but all right.
Been bumped up.
Yeah, I'm getting higher.
The
Higher
FBI's
priority.
most wanted list, but like naughty, like
Yeah.
Santa's FBI most
In the dark
Yeah.
red. I'm in dark red Sharpie.
Mhm.
Well, Diandra, thank you so much for an amazing collaboration. You've been so much fun to work with, so professional. I can't state that enough, how much that means to me when you're putting together a
Sounds
show.
painful.
No, this is all good. Okay. All right, let's try that again. Thanks for being professional. Thanks for being you. Working with you has been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot. You blow me away every time we work together, and how well you come prepared. But more than that, again, like I said to Brittany, you've been a good friend. You've been a fun collaborator, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed working with you and getting to know you. And thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for all the work you do and for bringing all of us together and, editing and putting the show in the background and everything. I mean, all the work you put into it. Some people are just like, okay, here we go. I guess we're doing another episode. Been there. And I just, it's a lot of work and to get people to keep coming back. And so just the amazing work that you've done editing and like the all the visuals and the music and just everything. And it's a great show. So thank you for asking us to be a part of it.
I didn't know you watched the show. You do? Okay. Great.
What?
I'm not good at taking compliments.
Wait.
Sorry. No,
Wait, do you not think we watch it?
I don't know. Well, I know you watch it, but I mean, I understand, like, she's on every episode, and if she doesn't have time, but I just didn't know that she watched it, but now apparently she does. Whatever.
Ye of little faith.
Oh, man, a little hurt.
I'm just so bad at taking compliments and nice talk. So take that as just me giving
really?
back.
Does it make you uncomfortable?
It does. It
Give
does.
him more compliments.
You want to see me squirm? I swear to you. You want to see me squirm? You compliment me.
I'm gonna be pushing that button.
It's very awkward. I say the stupidest things. I ruin friendships. It's terrible. But anyways, no, I do. I've had a lot of fun. So Brittany, are you gonna come back for season 2?
Of course.
Okay.
If you'll have me.
Diandra. I'll have to renegotiate.
Maybe.
Wow. At least she's honest.
No, I'll be back for season 2.
Yeah, say it at least on air, and then this way you can always send me a text saying
No. New Year's resolution now.
No, hopefully hopefully we'll have some more fun stuff in season 2. But first, we need an awesome Christmas break, and that is exactly what's going to happen. Thank you to whoever follows us. People who vote in our polls, people who subscribe on YouTube. I don't say it on every show because I don't like being that guy, but if you could subscribe, that would help. And thanks to all our guests that we've had. We've had some really, really cool people. And some people are still in the queue that I can't wait to bring on the show next year. And I guess that's about it. We'll see you in 22 for season 2.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Bye from all of us at the Horror Slash. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.